Now, by the time this video closes, you're going to be thinking one of two things. The first is that I'm so glad he told us everything that he's done wrong, but the second is this guy used to be pretty stupid. But either way, as long as it helps you or even entertains you in the slightest at the expense of myself, then my job is done, as this is the only channel designed to make sure that you do it bigger and better than myself, and of course the honest way, and all this by learning for free. So for that reason, I'm going to be running through every single mistake I've made on my houses throughout the duration of this channel, and for this particular one I'm going to be running through 4 mistakes. So let's get going. What's going on, everyone? My name is Aaron, aka The Anxious Investor, and welcome back to the only property channel that will give you all the information that you need for free without trying to sell you any generic course, making sure that the money you have can be put towards your own investments and property journey. Now, I need nothing from you other than you smashing the hell out of that like button, and maybe even consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and you haven't checked out my videos already. Although when you do get a house, I will accept Kinder Bueno donations as a thank you. Now, moving on, let's get started with some of the mistakes that I made when I purchased this home. The first one was comparables. Now, you've heard me say this so many times, and I'm going to look a right idiot here. So obviously I need to give you some excuses as to why I made these mistakes as well. But when I look back in hindsight, I really do kick myself. So essentially what happened was I'd viewed over 100 properties before I actually got this one accepted. It was actually my 101st offer, funnily enough. So hopefully there's a lesson here that this stuff can take time and patience. But before viewing properties at auctions, I would normally get the catalogue from the auction house, or I would check online and do a kind of desktop analysis, a little bit how I demonstrated in this video last week. Only I did it better last week. Now at this point, I used to use a website called Mouse Price religiously, the free version of course. And as a result of that, I wouldn't actually look at the property photos, so I'd only have prices of what they're selling for. And when I bought this for £45,000, there was sold house prices for £80,000 on that particular road. Now, knowing roughly I could probably renovate this based on the photos for around £10,000, I thought this looks like a great flip opportunity. Not quite. Anyways, the comparables that were being showed were on the same road, but unfortunately they were new builds. Now when you see this, you're probably thinking, God, this guy is stupid. And I have to hold my hands up and actually agree. But in my defense, on that particular day, we had viewed, I think 10 or 15 properties back to back, literally, following the auctioneer around, and literally all I was doing was running into the properties, taking as many photos as I possibly could, and spending most of my time in the house. And also the way the house was positioned on a very long road, another excuse I know, you couldn't even see any of the new builds on that particular home. So I just assumed it was one of the houses that I was looking at, i.e. the terraced houses. And to add to that, I had another rookie mistake, which was that the spreadsheet I took with me only had the end value price, not the door number. So if at least it had the door number there, maybe I could have potentially looked around for that particular house and realized, hold on a minute, Aaron, this is a brand new build. So anyway, I went back, I plugged this into my spreadsheet, and I thought, this looks like a great deal, and I bought it for $45,000 via a proxy bid, and I got it accepted. So what should you actually do differently? Well, the first thing you want to be doing is making sure the comparables are as close as possible, like I tried to do. And if you can't get that, then you can increase the search radius, but you want it like for like, not a new build versus an old build, not a 3-bed semi versus a 3-bed terrace. So please make sure you do that. And also, don't be a numpty like me and take the full details with you. Take that house number with you so you can quickly scan what house, Mouse Price, or whatever Rightmove or Zoopla tool you're using is referring to. But we live and learn. Next up, mistake number 2, builders. Now I kind of have a love-hate relationship with builders, and despite getting 3 quotes, which I actually did and I highly recommend to yourselves, I chose the wrong builder from the 3. You see, what I did was I chose someone who had the gift of the gab. And remember, just because people are great speakers and say what you want them to say, i.e. you hear what you want to hear, you shouldn't always trust them. So don't just go on what somebody says. You want to look at their work or try and get recommendations too. Nonetheless, I did it, and this was actually my first mistake I made with this builder. For the agreed £8,500 renovation, I ended up sending him a huge deposit. And off the top of my head, I can't recall exactly how much it was, but trust me, it was over 25%, which is something that you should never, ever do. You see, I always believe if a builder can't at least start the work, then that should definitely raise some eyebrows. Don't even know why I tried to do that there. Because it may just show that they have cash flow issues. Now I understand that you may need to buy materials and stuff like that, but make sure that you're on top of it, at least for the first few weeks. And maybe even set up some stage payments too. For example, like 10% after week X, 25% after stage 1, 25% after stage 2, a further 25% after stage 3, and then keep 15% back for the final weeks and snagging, for example. I didn't do any of that. And just very quickly, snagging, That is the process of checking over the work for things that need rectifying or changing or any sort of faults. So just to give you guys an example, doors not closing properly. Has paint been missed in certain areas? Do all the appliances work, for example? Are the handles about to fall off? Just check as much as you possibly can. So hopefully that helps. And by the way, as I'm telling you this, one of the things I'm realizing is I really want to punch myself in the face right now at how dumb I was. Like, I was so naive and stupid, but like they say, you don't know what you don't know. Now, when I purchased this, it had recently been painted over by the previous owner, who, if you ask me now, they're a bit of an arse for the fact that he or she did something pretty sneaky, and this is something to watch out for. They painted over damp as a short-term fix. Now, I will take accountability for it, as you need to learn to do in this game, for not having a damp meter with me and being naive to some of the tricks that some of these investors try and do. But by the time I had workers in, the paint had actually started to show the actual damp underneath. And this was a big issue in itself. I literally sat there, I remember before I brought it, and when I was viewing it, sorry, and I thought, this is such an easy flip. They've even painted it for me, not realizing there was some hidden nasties underneath that. So anyways, if you are doing regular viewings, you may want to get yourself a damp meter like this. And I've just linked in the description below the one that I personally use. You don't have to buy that, but you're welcome to use that one. And it's a great tool just to kind of stab into the walls where you may suspect damp. Now, a final mistake I'll mention, and by the way, there were so many more, but this mistake was about buying cheap materials. Now, one of the lessons that I often scream from the rooftops is cheap is expensive. And spending money on cheap stuff in the wrong places will cost you so much more in the long term. So for example, make sure that you buy better handles, buy better paint, better flooring underlay, which isn't that much more money, but it can help so much in terms of adding to the feel and value of the house. So you need to be spending money in the right places and not being a cheapskate like I was. Now, if there's any questions in relation to the above, please do drop them down below and I'll try and help you with maybe some more insights, especially if you're doing viewings yourself as well. And all I ask at this point is, if you have made it to this point, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I know some of you get lazy, as I truly appreciate that. And now I'm probably gonna roll a hell of a lot of bloopers. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I agreed an 8,500 into a spreadsheet when I got home. I was running. Okay, we're back. I sent him a huge deposit. Now I can't recall exactly off the top of my head how much that deposit was, but out of that 8,500, he already had a large, can't even speak, mate, I'm so sorry. But out of the total amount of, what am I doing? Gonna quickly smash that like button, please. And just before we do that, man, it's moving too quick. I'll get there, mate. For not having a damp meter with me, and being naive and not. What am I even trying to say? And being naive to the clever tricks that some investors do to fool people.